Gypsy admits to a felony offense while in prison. Here is Gypsy saying at 2 different occasions how she and Ken would talk 5 hours at a time when she was incarcerated.
Just my personal opinion, I have known Ken for 7 years.
But you didn't know him when he was in prison, correct?
I did. That's actually
Yeah, but you talked to it. You didn't know what he was doing behind the scenes.
I did because we talked for 5 hours at a time. Oh, bless you, honey. 5 hours at a time, and the other times he was working.
We'd spend like 5 hours straight on the phone talking.
My best friend, he called me this morning and said, man, I met Ken's dad yesterday, man. I said, we hit it off, bro.
Yeah, like that. In the beginning, I didn't know nothing about that relationship. I didn't know nothing about that he wrote her letters. They spoke 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. They got that kind of connection that they complete each other. Seeing that, knowing that, that makes me feel good as a father. So once I found out that Gypsy was pregnant, I said it's only appropriate that the families meet. Thank you so much. You guys made us feel home. Good.
Incarcerated with Gypsy, I know the parts of her book which are complete lies, fabrications, or the 5-hour phone calls that she most certainly did not have at a time. I mean, she literally said she stayed on the phone for 5 hours straight with Ken, which is not possible in the Department of Corrections, Chillicothe in Missouri. We didn't have tablets then when they were dating.
People were asking about, his finances when he was with Gypsy, how he did all that traveling and stuff too. I've seen that multiple times. And I wanted to clear that up too. In 2019 is when COVID-19 hit, and at the end of the year. But he did stay in contact with her. He was drawing the unemployment for COVID, the pandemic unemployment, and he was scoring about, $4,000 a week just from government money for the COVID payout. So it really wasn't that much of a stretch for him to spend 5 hours on the phone with her on prison dime, like prison costs.
Yes, it is.
Which is like 10 cents a minute.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because they don't let you do that. You don't get to
No,
do
they
that.
don't.
Once she's on a contraband cell phone, that's not happening. It's not happening.
But didn't they have the tablets back then?
No, they didn't have the tablets back then because Nadatha said
thank you, Bryn.
that they didn't have the tablets back then. And not only that, even when they have the tablets, you hear on the prison phone calls, phone calls from prison, those phone calls, they end after every 20 minutes, and you only get like 3 in a row or something like that. You can't do that. So unless there was a contraband, cell phone, she didn't do that. And they didn't do it for 5 and 6 hours at a time anyway, because listen, there's counts. Deputies walk around the prison so many times a day where you have to show yourself. There's head counts. And
Right,
they're not once a day. They're not twice a day. They are several times a day. And they don't just let you sit in your cell block. They want to see you. So, I mean, it's not a hotel. That's an out and out fabrication. It's a lie. The only way that happened is if she had a contraband cell phone, and still they weren't on the phone for that length of time.
So what would the punishment be for Gypsy Rose since she has admitted to speaking to Ken 5 hours at a time? She must have had a contraband phone. Well, let's read the law on this. At Chillicothe Correctional Center in Missouri in 2019, if an inmate was caught with a contraband cell phone, they would likely face serious disciplinary actions within the prison system and possibly criminal charges under Missouri law. Prison disciplinary consequences. Administrative penalties. 1. Disciplinary segregation, solitary confinement. The inmate could be placed in the hole for a period of time. 2. Loss of privileges. This could include revocation of visitation rights, phone calls, commissary access, and recreational time. 3. Increase in custody level. The inmate could be reclassified to a higher security level or transferred to a more restrictive facility. 4. Loss of good time credits. Any earned sentence reductions for good behavior could be revoked. Legal consequences. Missouri state law. Under Missouri Revised Statutes 217.360, introducing or possessing contraband like a cell phone in a correctional facility is a felony offense. The inmate could face additional criminal charges and extra time added to their sentence if prosecuted. Anyone who helped smuggle in the phone, staff, visitors, or other inmates, could also be charged with a felony. The charge would likely be possession of a prohibited item in a correctional facility, which in Missouri can carry additional years in prison if convicted. Was it worth it, Gypsy? Bragging about how long you spoke on the phone to Ken when it wasn't allowed. We tried to reach Ken Erker for comment on this matter, but all we got was no comment. If any parole officers in Missouri or Louisiana would like to look into this matter and actually do their jobs, that would be great. How many things is Gypsy going to get away with while other parolees are stuck in their states not getting paid for interviews, documentaries, and books about their crimes? Think about it. Tell me what you think in the comments. Should Gypsy be charged with possession of a contraband phone while she was in prison? Or will we just let this go like all the other felonies and violations she has committed? By the way, because of a certain content creator, I have been demonetized for a few months, and I have to do a second appeal to get remonetized at the end of April. In the meantime, if you would like to support this channel, you can become a member or go to my Linktree and buy me a coffee. Thank you for all your support.